let me welcome you to this, our project launch. We were engaged by the Public Works and by extension the government of St. Kitts some 2.5 years ago, actually before Hurricane Maria. I think Maria simply magnified the need for such a project. But the problems of Old Road Bay, I think, has its own history. The scope of work was not readily defined. It was explained simply that the safety of the commuters is paramount. Along with the Public Works, we set out to simply look at the most economical approach to this project. We looked at the upperland area. There's a train line, as you would know, that runs above here. And we thought that would probably be the simplest route to follow. But there are many problems with that route. One, to get back into Old Road Bay, which I understand, and from my little bit of history, is a very significant town and location in St. Kitts. It has its own history, and that must be preserved. We looked also at the stability of the upper topography of the area, and realized that we face a number of problems. One, and most significantly, is the stability of the upperlands. It is susceptible to slippage, erosion, and we brought in some of our local meaning Jamaican expertise and other consultants that worked with us to look at the area, and we were advised that it is extremely unstable, and weathering, once exposed, will be the major issue. So we look further at benching, similar to the project we have done at Timothy Hill. But the formation of the soil condition is not as stable, and that also we ruled out. We also looked at revetment and protection and stabilization of the slope, benching, and other solutions which we thought would have been applicable. So that's the land side of the project. We also looked at the offshore solution. Again, we looked at, could we use sheet piles, which has its problems with erosion, corrosion, and other factors that affect metal. And this is a severe marine environment which we have to take into consideration. We have looked at piling, bridge, concrete works, but part of our mandate is to ensure that the citizens of St. Kitts play a major role in terms of the construction, material use, and other factors that they can benefit from. We came up with two designs, one with respect to the land side, the other offshore, slightly offshore, and both were presented to the cabinet. From my feedback at the time, I think they were very impressed with the solution using the land side. The other factor which I think was of concern is that most of the land on the on the land side was privately owned. We have had our problems with that when we did the Southeast project, and we have decided that we could balance the solution by simply moving some 55 meters to the extreme from the existing road edge, and that solution initially we estimated would have cost some 8.6 million US dollars. Against going landslide with its uncertainties, we were looking at 5.6 to 7 million US dollars. We were mandated to undertake the design and make the final recommendation, and that we did. The project was delayed somewhat because we had issues with the variation in depth when we go beyond 20 meters from the existing road edge. And we executed a second bathymetric survey, which we relied on for this design. Needless to say, we also had to take into consideration the environmental issues in terms of the disturbances that we would have to do to the environment. And also, we looked at consistent erosion in the area. And finally, the design which we have settled on, which you will see there at the on display, would provide us with the best environmental solution using the material that we can harvest from St. Kitts, and also with local contractors and efforts. We think that the solution provide the most economical and will engage to the great extent the people of St. Kitts. How did we proceed with the project? We went to open tender with the condition that this project would be open to local contractors only. And of course, this would have its own problem. This is basically a new project for St. Kitts. Where do we get the expertise to undertake such a project? Simply, most construction projects are not difficult. What they take is a lot of planning, excellent design, coordination, and the harvesting of skills that are required for the project. This is simply a project, you would say, take into consideration building a brick house, one brick at a time. Well, rock and dirt will be doing it one armor rock at a time. So we need to coordinate how quickly we can do this and how effective we can have this executed without disturbing too much the environment and without disturbing the citizens' effort in getting to and from work. So those are some of the issues that we had put in our tender proposal. We had very good responses to these tenders. I think we had some 5 contractors responding positively by submitting their proposals, and the prices range from, I think, 71.8 million down to 40.6. We have an issue with that cost because we had estimated that to be a little lower, but in negotiations, we have moved the project cost down to approximately $31.2 million. Don't quote me on that. I think there's some fine-tuning that might get it above or below that number. But we have had good competitive tenders from all local contractors. So it's down to the expertise now of the contractor that we select to execute the work. What will it take to do this? We need armor rocks of about 20 tons, and that's about 26,000 tons of armor rock will be used in the project. Another 127,000 tons of 10-ton rocks, and we will use smaller secondary rocks of about 25 to 30 tons of material. That will fortify the external perimeters of the new roadway, which is, in our estimation and direct measurement, is approximately 1.2 kilometers. And as shown there, it will start at the upper end and integrate itself back into the road going through the village at Old Road Bay. We have also ensured that the new road will be elevated approximately 4.8 meters above the existing road, and the revetment that protects it will be elevated a further 2.5 meters, so the road itself will be protected. How will be the citizens be protected from the land slippage and fallen rocks? That now creates the safety issues that we're trying to mitigate against. We'll simply move completely away from the existing road. We'll elevate the new road above that. Mean sea level, we are looking at approximately 14.2 feet, 5 point something meters. And any slippage can be accommodated within the space now created and the elevation which we have implemented in this design. What are the major issues that we face? First and foremost, we are no longer working on solid ground. So hopefully our contractor, by the name of Rock and Dirt, at the end of it, if he's very successful, we might become rock, dirt, and water. So I'm counting on that. I have absolutely no fear in putting my trust in the contractor we have selected, or any other contractor that have tendered for that matter. It's an area of expertise that we cherish. Working with the team of engineers from the Public Works, working with the resources of St. Kitts, and our minor input in engineering, I think the solution is simple and straightforward. We are mining rocks in an existing quarry, so there should be no disruption in any way to the environment. We are using an area designated for quarry material. Some amount of disruption will occur in traffic. Going through Challenger will be a challenge because the road is extremely narrow. The citizens park on the road. We have to solve that because the project schedule is 12 months. Our initial estimate was 18 months. We have lost about between 2017 and now, and the challenges with design, we have lost some time. We have put the contractor in the spotlight for this, and we have been working with a schedule that says 12 months. His proposal included 24 hours, 6 days per week. In our last discussion and planning meeting at the Public Works, we have agreed that running 24 hours might be a little disruptive for the citizens in close proximity to the roadway. So we have now decided to work between 6 a.m. and 11, and this might require the contractor to scope the works and reschedule. So we'll end up with additional time. But I think he has taken on the challenge, and we should meet the objective of the project, which at the end we should come up with the most feasible and economical design, which utilizes the efforts and resources of St. Kitts. If we achieve this, and we do this within the time, we would have achieved the objective and the task which the government of St. Kitts and Honorable Minister Leiber, along with Public Works, has placed upon us. I think we're up to the challenge, and I think the contractor we have selected has the resources, and I'm sure that he has by now realized the effort which is required for this project. And I must say that on 2 occasions I have worked with rock and dirt. And initially, and I have said this publicly, he and I would not get on well on a normal day. And since I've said it to him, I can say it here. But I've come to respect him for 2 reasons, and his team. One is that he gave his word and he executed it well. And I'm happy to work with any such contractor that will give his word and it can materialize within reasonable time and without any effort to manipulate the cost. And we have done this successfully in his involvement at Timothy Hill, and I hope that the same method will be applied here, and we will execute within the time frame, and the work will be to the satisfaction of ourselves and, most importantly, the citizens of St. Kitts, and in particular Old Road Bay, because you're closest to this at the end. Thank you very much.